The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up the mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son, listen to him." After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord.
Peter always gets excited when he's around Jesus, doesn't he? Every time Jesus does something, miracle, whatever, Peter just gets fired up. "Jesus, we need to do this." This time he says, "It's good that we're here. We need to make 3 tents, one for Moses, one for Elijah, and one for you." And it's very specific. He did not know what he was saying. What do you think that means? I think a piece of it is, like you and me, Peter was very human, and he's always living in the now. Right? Something great happened in this place. What do we want to do? Well, we want to memorialize this thing that happened. Let's make 3 tents. Let's make sure we don't forget this place, because something really great happened here. It was about 3 weeks ago. I was actually standing on this mountain celebrating Mass in the Moses Chapel at the Church of the Transfiguration. Deacon David Hamill was reading the Gospel and preaching that day. We were in the very spot, or near the very spot, that this was happening. And it was very impactful. And by golly, there was a church built there. Peter wasn't supposed to build a tent, but it's okay, I guess, to build a church now in Israel, right? And it's a beautiful thing that we went back to that place. But the moment of the Transfiguration was about Jesus revealing the future to Peter, James, and John in a very real way. As he's praying, he starts bodily changing. And Peter, James, and John get a small glimpse of what his glorification is going to be like when he goes to heaven. And thus, what their glorification is going to be when they go to heaven. But it was so beautiful, they were overcome by sleep because they couldn't take the whole thing. And then here comes Moses and Elijah, and having this conversation with Jesus, at some level, probably giving Jesus support. Hey, we know you're going to Jerusalem. They're going to crucify you. It's going to be the worst day of your life, but it's okay. Your Father's with you in this. It's going to be okay. Because they were, in a way, bolstering him up, giving him encouragement that I'm sorry that Peter and James and John couldn't do, because they still didn't understand the whole thing. When we look then at the first reading, it says, Abram put his faith in the Lord, who credited it to him as an act of righteousness. Here's Abram. He hasn't even had his name changed to Abraham yet. This is the very beginning of that. That God is trying to let Abram know that you're going to be the father of many nations. And Abram trusted. He trusted in a way blindly because he wasn't sure what was coming. But he trusted nonetheless. And then in the second reading, join with others in being imitators of me. This is Paul talking now. Because our citizenship is in heaven. We're just on this earth for a brief moment, a flash of time. Yes, when we're on this earth, do we need to do the things that we need to do to live this relationship with God while we're here? Absolutely. In this time of Lent, should we be praying? Should we be giving alms? Should we be fasting and abstaining from things? Should we be preparing our hearts for this? Absolutely. But what are we preparing for? We're preparing for the understanding that you and I belong in heaven. That's where God created us for. That's our future. Sure, it's nice to live here. Sure, there's nice things to have. Sure, it's great to drive a good car and live in a nice house and all. But it's dust. It will go away. When we go to heaven, none of that will matter. And so what Jesus is trying to do for Peter, James, and John in giving this glimpse, and then what he's trying to do for us through the church by bringing these scriptures to us, bringing Lent to us, bringing an understanding of what we're to grow in now in this life, he wants us to understand that that's the goal. So that everything we do should be bringing us to that goal. And if there are things that we're doing in our life that are taking us off target of that goal, those are the very things we need to work on to bring us back in line. Like Peter saying, let's build a tent here. What Jesus in effect is saying to Peter, you're wasting your time, buddy. That tent don't matter. It's great that we had this great experience, and I'm glad that you're excited, Peter. Welcome to number 473rd time you've been excited, right? But it's about the things that are above. It's about taking as many people to heaven with us when we go. It's about living our lives so that we are a witness for others who look at us and go, what's different about that person? What is it that they have that I want? It's something unique. There's something about them that they understand more about life than I do. What is that? And that's then when we get to witness. Yeah, what is it? I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I'm living my faith. I know that this life is important, but that the life beyond in heaven is the whole reason I'm here today. There's a statement in the second reading. It's the last 5 words. Stand firm in the Lord. Stand firm in the Lord. Stand firm in our commitment to prayer and relationship with the Lord. Stand firm in our understanding that this time of Lent needs to stretch us and to help mold us into a better Christian, a better witness, a better Catholic, a better human. Stand firm in understanding that this place we're at now, yes, it's a good thing. As Peter says, it is good that we are here. It is good that we are here at St. John's today. It's good that we are here in Bartlesville. It is good that we are here in America. It is good that we are on the world in this time. God has created each one of us uniquely, that this is the right place to be right now at this time. It's good. But this is not the end. The end is with Him in heaven. And so we must stand firm now. We must open our hearts now. We must hear the voice of God who calls us. And then through our Lenten practices and through this moment in time, that this relationship with God, that we understand that just like Elijah and Moses were visiting with Christ, you and I are to be in heaven in the future, visiting with Christ face to face.